Okay, now today ఇప్పుడు let's talk about when we talk about data modeling. Okay, when we talk about data modeling, we need to talk about we need to start with entities concept. Entity. Okay, an entity, okay, it talks about some information. Entity talks about an information. Entity talks about information. Okay, entity talks about information. Entity is about information that that is important for business. Information, okay, that is important, okay, that is important for business. So entity is an information that stores an information that is important for business and is needed for capture. Okay, generally entities, whatever entity that we talk, entity, it's a noun or a noun phrase. Is a noun or noun phrase. Okay, generally entity is a noun or a noun phrase. Because it is talking about information. Entity is a noun or a noun phrase in general. Now, an entity generally fits into 6 categories. An entity okay, an entity generally fits into 6 categories. One is who. Next is what. Next is when. Okay, next is where. Okay, next is why. And there's one more question pending, how. So entity answers all these six questions. These are all categories. So when we categorize a data set into, if we are able to identify and categorize the data at least in one of these 6 categories, then you are able to identify an entity. Then you will be able to identify an entity. Okay, entity talks about, generally fits into 6 categories. Okay, next, so entity types ఏంటి, an entity type, okay, so let's talk about who అంటే ఏంటి. It's a person or organization, obviously. It's an individual person. We are talking about individual person or organization. Okay, that is useful for the enterprise. So when a company is dealing, ఏదైనా కంపెనీతో డీల్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు there will be a people involved or else different sub companies involved. Okay, so generally examples ఏంటి అంటే ఎంప్లాయీ. ఓకే, ఎంప్లాయీ అనేది when we talk about a company, employees ఉంటారు. ఓకే, and when we talk about a company, we'll have customers. Who is our customer? It's an entity. Okay, and if we talk about e-commerce company, then they'll have vendors. If we talk about a hospital, they'll have patients. Patient is a noun. Who is he? He's a patient. Who is he? He's a customer. Who is he? He's a vendor. Who is he? He's an employee. So whenever we are talking about a person or an organization, then who comes. So what is the entities? You can, from the any use case that you are dealing with, you can identify entity using this question. Now where. Where it's a product or service. Sorry, it is a location. It's a location. When we a location or a place, obviously. సో లొకేషన్ వేర్ జనరలీ ఏ లొకేషన్లో నా ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఉంది. నా ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఐ కెన్ హ్యావ్ ఇట్ ఎట్ వెబ్సైట్. ఐ కెన్ హ్యావ్ ఇట్ ఎట్ వెబ్సైట్ ఆర్ ఈమెయిల్. ఓకే, ఆర్ ఎల్స్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్, ఆర్ ఎల్స్ లొకేషన్ అంటే ఐ మీన్ లైక్ ఇట్స్ జియోగ్రఫికల్ ప్లేస్ ఆర్ ఎల్స్ జియోగ్రఫికల్ ప్లేస్. Okay, so where represents a location. Now comes what. వాట్ అంటే నేను దేంతో డీల్ చేస్తున్నాను. సో నేను నా కంపెనీ దేంతో డీల్ చేస్తుంది. ఈజ్ ఇట్ అబౌట్ సర్వీసెస్ ఆర్ ఎల్స్ ఆ ప్రోడక్ట్. నా కంపెనీ ఇదర్ ప్రోడక్ట్ గురించి మాట్లాడుతుంది లేకపోతే సర్వీసెస్ గురించి మాట్లాడుతుంది. ఓకే, సో ఇట్స్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ రా గూడ్స్ అండ్ సర్వీసెస్. మెటీరియల్ ఈజ్ అ what are you dealing with materials, what are you dealing with products. Okay, what am I dealing with? I am dealing with a song. Okay, that is what is what. So given a data set, you need to know you need to able to identify the questions like this. Now when is about time. ఏ టైంలో అయింది, ఎందుకు అయింది, ఏ టైంలో అయింది అంటే క్యాలెండర్ టేబుల్స్ లైక్ ఇయర్, మంత్, డే, ఇవన్నీ. ఓకే, దిస్ ఈజ్ వాట్ ఈజ్ అబౌట్ వెన్. నెక్స్ట్ కమింగ్ టు వై. ఎందుకయింది. జనరలీ కంప్లైంట్స్ ఇస్తుంటాం మనం. సో ఆర్ ఎల్స్ ఎంక్వైరీ చేస్తుంటాం. ఓకే, ఆర్ ఎల్స్ మనీ విత్డ్రా చేస్తుంటాం. ఇవన్నీ ఈవెంట్స్. ఇట్స్ ఈవెంట్ ఆర్ అ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్. Like any return is an event. With trading is an event. Trade doesn't fall under where, what, who and when. It has to come under why. Okay, deposits is a why. So all these, wherever events or transactions are involved, those are termed as a why category. Next, how did I pay my bill. So documentation related anta how. Invoice is a document. Agreement is a document. Okay, invoice is a document, agreement is a document. Next is ticket is a document. So all these are categories in which you need to split the data. Okay, so that is what is all about entities. So you need to be able to identify the entities and split the entities accordingly. So entity is a basic information that we can derive from the data. Okay, so that's what is all about entities. Okay, so let's discuss on the summary of entities. So entity represents is a collection of information about something. It's a collection of information about business, and obviously about business. It's collection of business it fits into multiple categories as described. Questions: so who, what, where, when, why, how. So it has to fit. So entity can exist as conceptual. Entity అనేది it can be conceptual. Entity can be conceptual. హై లెవెల్లో కాన్సెప్షువల్లో ఉండొచ్చు, లాజికల్లో ఉండొచ్చు, ఆల్రెడీ డేటాబేస్లో కూడా ఉండొచ్చు. ఆల్రెడీ డేటాబేస్లో ఉంటే ఫిజికల్ అంటారు. ఓకే, సో దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఈస్ ఆల్ అబౌట్ ఎంటిటీ. ఓకే.